just practice makes perfect. And that's something that I do a lot of, especially when it comes to training. So that's definitely embedded in me. I think the hardest part would be doing it. You got to do it to reap the rewards. You can, learn all the knowledge in the world. You can take all this information in, you can, listen to a whole heap of different podcasts, you can read a lot of books, but if you don't do it, then you're not going to see any rewards in the outcome.
Welcome back to the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. I'm your host, Richard Detergent, and today's episode is a really important one, especially if you've been in the fitness industry for a period of time and you're going, what is my next move? What is my next step? And how do I stay current in every era of the fitness game? So I thought I'd bring along a client and an amazing business operator today. So if you are tuning in, make sure you take some notes on this episode because I don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got joining me today, Kate Mackie. Welcome to the call.
Thanks, Richard. I appreciate you having me on. It's going to be great.
Good to have you here too. Now, we've known each other probably for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, something like that. And I wanted to get you on today because, and first of all, let me take our listeners back a little step. 2 years you came to Com. I remember actually you joined us and it was like, I think you started off with like something like just under 30 clients or 30 clients coming across. You had an existing outdoor business before. And that's one of the things I do want to talk about, the outdoor business. And you said, I want to give a business a go myself and I want to create a brand. And the brand you created was Run It by Kate. I'm assuming Kate, same name. Good. Run It by Kate. And you pretty much 3 to 4x'd your business in a space of 2 years. Phenomenal. And all through COVID is the actual other phenomenal thing. And the third thing I want to mention to everybody is that you also live in Melbourne too. And if anybody can remember what COVID was, and if you listen to this, like, oh, wow, when was that? That was so long ago, right? Or like we already forgot about it. I think not. But, there was multiple lockdowns in Melbourne, over 5, I think 6, 7, I'm not sure. But the other thing is it's cold, it's winter in times, and you are, 4xing your business in a space of 2 years over, through COVID. And I want to get on today because I want to talk about your journey because a lot of people I think are going through this same journey at the moment, Kate. It's like post-COVID, people have been pounding it for 2 years, giving it the best crack, growing their businesses. Some people are growing their business or maintaining their business, what position you're in. And you're sitting going here, wow, reflecting on what has been. And so I guess I got some questions for you, if that's okay, Kate.
Oh, totally. Far away. It's definitely been a journey.
Definitely been a journey. Yeah. And so take me through, you've been in the space for around 18. I've got 18 years here. If your bio is updated, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, probably nearly coming on. So as a personal trainer, I'm going to say coming up to 12 years. And then before that, so I'm going to say I was a run coach for about 9 years. So I used to train kids in athletics.
And so you did athletics, done some group training. And I remember, and I think what I've been hearing a lot with, when we talk to outdoor trainers, there was this ups and downs in outdoor business where some periods it was like, oh my gosh, like in the morning at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, the beaches, the parks are just full of boot camps of personal trainers and everybody's training outdoors like nobody's experienced outdoors before. Take me through a bit of the journey of the ups and downs of outdoor training. Really interested in, what's it look like now? Where's it has come from?
Well, it's definitely changed over the years, Richard. When I first started as a group outdoor fitness instructor, there was multiple different outdoor franchises. I think the franchise that I worked for had over 160 different businesses, Australia plus New Zealand wide. So it was quite big back then. Definitely going through COVID, there was a lot more out there. But now, like, it's pretty much just me in the park on my own. I'm pretty lucky to have that because I have a massive space, just like, in a city about 10 minutes away from Melbourne. And it's quite a great business to have in that area. Very well-known park in Melbourne. So yeah, look, it's just not as big as it used to be. Lots of people used to love that outdoor space, but I know a lot of my friends that were in that outdoor space, they have gone to that indoor now studio for themselves. So I think for me, I enjoy the outdoor space. The clients that come to me enjoy being outside. And I think it comes with a lot of perks.
All right, let's run through the perks. You being an outdoor trainer in Melbourne, give me a couple perks and then love to know what they are.
Fresh air to start with. Being able to utilize the park for itself. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything bad about a gym. I train in a gym myself. It's just being able to utilize as much space as you can. So, running around, using different pieces of equipment in that sort of area. The clients that come to me definitely work in that corporate space, or they work as a nurse. So they're constantly inside all the time, up to 12, 14-hour day. And the last thing they want to do is to go back inside. So for them, it's creating that outdoor environment, peaceful. It's, you're hearing the birds. Like this morning, we saw this amazing rainbow. Like, who gets to see that when you're inside the gym? And every morning it's just spectacular. It's something different every morning, every evening. Yeah, it's really, it's like a picture, a never-ending painting. Yeah.
I love it. I first started my personal training career as an outdoor trainer. So I've got a soft spot for it. And I love the journey of trainers, fitness professionals who are on a journey, and they've been doing that space for a while, and I think they're seasoned professionals. And we have a few outdoor businesses trainers in our program, our Ninja program, our Breakthrough program, our Scale program. And what it is, I think it's about knowing that it's a business. And I think when people come and say, "Oh, I'm just doing a trainer," and I, go outside, do some sessions, there's a level of like, is it professional enough, Kate? Do you have to have a studio to say that, oh, this is a long-term business? And you've definitely proven that wrong over the space of 18 years. Take me through that concept. I mean, when people people assume that, okay, you're outdoors, do you have to charge less? Or, they expect to charge more in a studio or a gym. What are the preconceived ideas that you hear from clients?
I wouldn't say about the pricing factor. I definitely think that we're on the same page as a gym, depending if you're the gym owner to being maybe a trainer inside a gym. But no, pricing factor, definitely not any different. I know myself, there's a few people in the program, Richard, that I know my prices are higher than theirs. And they're like, oh, we're in a gym. And I'm like, yeah, guys, come on. I think it comes down to pricing factors, your experience, how confident you are in what you have as a business, as selling your business to somebody. And you don't need to have a shop front. Yes, it's hard because I'm not there 24/7. People don't drive past me constantly. But for me, I'm there all the time. My car is branded. I have A-frames. I have flags put up. I'm there all morning, nearly every morning, because I don't just stick around and do a class and then take off. Like, my van's always there. People know me for that way as well. So that definitely pays off in that area.
Yeah, love it. Let's talk about that a little bit. Just the journey of creating your own business, an outdoor business, for anybody who is thinking about creating their own outdoor business. Kate, what are the non-negotiables, the items that you have to do to get your business off the ground? Again, you've got this business off the ground over the last 2 years, and you've gone from 30 to 100 plus clients. Take us through your step-by-step process to do that.
Yeah, no worries, Richard. So it's definitely, making sure that you look professional as well. Like, I have been an outdoor trainer in the past. I've just had my car, shoved equipment in it, turned up, did a class, left. It comes down to, I have a van. I've got a nice brand new sort of van, about 4 years old. So it looks professional. It looks clean. I have branding all over it. I have my own equipment inside the van, which is always clean. I set up a little table at the park. I have flyers. I've got, tissues. I've got hand sanitizer, the whole, when we have QR codes, everything is set up so it looks like this is my business shop front, and I just pop up like a pop-up, pretty much like a little pop-up.
Yep.
Yeah, a little pop-up. And it definitely pays off. There's other trainers, as you would say, turn up, train a client, they leave. They don't have any branding or anything like that at the park. So being professional is definitely number one of setting up, making sure that you've got everything that you need. And yes, you can add things to the equipment and things that you need to do throughout that time, because not everyone has that money up front. But it's definitely being professional. I think it, like you said, it's about having a business, not just being a trainer at a park.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. Professional business flyers, be there, be present, not, be present those morning times, those times that people are going to walk past to see your flyer, see your van, see your, your flags that you put out there each morning.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because it doesn't seem that hard, but a lot of people don't treat an outdoor business that way. Why do you think that is?
Because this is my full-time job. A lot of trainers have other jobs.
Got it.
I think if you're going to give it 110%, you've got to put it all in. That's if you want that, you know what I mean? Like, and I wanted that. That's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to have another job. It doesn't work. I've tried it. Having two jobs doesn't work. So this is my full-time job. And I think people see that. Well, I know people notice that and they see that. And it shows when you put in the hard yards and you're there at the park. Yeah.
Well, totally. 3 to 4xing your business over a 2-year period and consistently keep growing. Now you're in a position where, well, where am I going to go to next? What am I going to do? What's the next move? I mean, let's talk about the other advantages too that I would have to pull up now is, rent. If you're a studio owner or a gym, rent can be very high in some locations. I'm assuming rent in a park would be less than rent in a studio. Your thoughts on that, Kate?
100% it is. Every park and every council is different. They have their own policies. Where I am, it's Crown land. So I have a one-off payment every year. Every year I just have to renew and pay it, and off I go. I've got access. I've got a permit to be there. So that's the number one thing too. A lot of councils, you need to have those permits. And a gym, I have worked at a gym a long, long time ago. I was actually thinking it was about 2016. I did it for about 6 months and it was a killer. It was like $300 a week, and I had to hustle hard to get my clients and then to pay that out. And I don't do that. So I'm very thankful for that. I don't have a studio where I have to pay, rent every month. So that definitely comes with a lot of perks.
Love it. More money in your back pocket, I think, is a good perk. And
more money that I can give back to my clients, which I do, and more money that I can put into my business. Yeah.
Love it. I remember there was a stage there, probably about 10 years ago, there was a lot of councils coming down on people saying we've got to pay for that now. And there was a lot of uproar in the fitness industry saying we shouldn't have to pay and so forth. But I just like to remind, everybody who's listening that, you've got to run a business. There's going to be a fee somewhere. If it's paying rent, paying a mortgage, paying outdoor in a class, paying something, there has to be a payment. And I think that's running a business. And I think that's a big key here. And it's like everything. It's like when these rules come out, council knocks down, no, it's going to take the price up, all those kind of things. What happens is that the ones that were there just for a bit of a part-time may disappear. And the ones that are there for serious time, they will grow. And you've seen that over these times, Kate. You've been in the game for a long time, also training other trainers up. Do you see those flows happening, and they still happening?
All the time. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. You definitely see that happening throughout the different times of the year, different times of the month. A lot of trainers at the park will pop up now, spring, summer, and they all leave in winter.
Yep.
I'm the only one still there, rain, hail, or shine. So I definitely see that throughout the time. And I think it does come down to paying. They just expect to just pop up at any park they want and just do what they want. And I think it's, look, don't get me wrong, I've been to another park and I haven't paid to be there because I've just popped up myself.
Yep.
And then I thought about it, like, what about if this person's actually paying to run their business there? That's not fair. So, if I start seeing somebody at the park constantly, I sort of think, go over and introduce myself and sort of find out a little bit about them before, you start, sort of saying, get off my turf. But sharing is caring. All for sharing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them just pop up in and out. So for me, having that overhead fee of actually having to pay for my business definitely gives me that more drive.
Yep. Love it. Well, okay, let's talk about some things that I think can really help anybody who's listening to this in regards to growing a team in an outdoor space. I'd love to know some of your strategies to grow a team, to maintain a team, and also even for yourself. How do you make it all happen inside the business, especially when the business is called Run It by Kate? You've got other team members, working your business. Take us through some of the strategies that you have for great staff retention.
Yeah, no worries at all, Richard. So for me, I have 3 group outdoor personal trainers, and I have 1 online yoga trainer. It can be a struggle to find good, hardworking trainers. A lot of people, obviously, it's not this is not their only job. They don't just work for Run It by Kate. They might have their own little business as well, or they might work at a gym, which one of my trainers does. And my other 2 trainers are uni students. So for them, this is their extra little kick up that they get to do. They might be, studying this as their degree, or they might not be doing something completely different. So it just sort of switches them off. It's hard because it is called Run It by Kate. For me, I do want to take I want to take a step back because I can't do every class. Like I literally can't do that. And my clients know that. Yep. So I had to sort of think about how am I going to make it so it's still like my presence is there. So I trained my trainers up to be like me.
Yeah.
Yes, they have their own unique spin and their own unique way of training. But for me, that seems to be working. I have 1 trainer who's been with me now for nearly a couple of years. His name is Armando. He's very different to me, very strong, passionate Italian man, but we have similar ways in the way that we train, and people like that about it. I've just been a mentor as well for some uni students that I feel like that's the next step to actually train them to be like me. Use my unique way, my different exercises. So for an example, Richard, I had a young kid train with me for about 4 months. Yep. So I just standing by me, learning the ropes, implementing what I would do. And I started to see that, like when they would do their own class, it's very similar to the way that I would train it, but slightly put their own unique spin on it, which was great because that's what I want them to do. I don't want them to be exactly like me.
Yep.
And I think that's a way of me being able to run my business called Run It by Kate, and me not being there 24/7 is to train these trainers up to be like me as a trainer, but put their unique spin on it. Yeah.
Yeah, great. To give the strategies, the system, but then put their uniqueness on it, which is great. Where do you find your trainers, Kate? Where do they come from?
Yeah, so my trainer that's been with me forever, Cade, he has been with me via another business I used to work for.
Yep.
So we're very similar. So we learned in that franchise. So that's quite easy. One was through Healthy People. That doesn't seem to be as working as much now because a lot of trainers left the industry, obviously through COVID, especially being in Melbourne.
Yep.
Some people didn't have, some businesses didn't have work for trainers, so they went and found something else. So I thought about going down the mentor way. Yes, it's a lot of hard work. Yes, it's a lot of hustle and muscle, but I just pretty much went that way and I actually get paid for it. Like, what's the perk of that? You know, you find these students, they live in and around my area. So for me, I live in the northern suburbs. So for someone that's living, you know, south of the city, it's just way too hard for them to get there. So they need to live in my surrounding surrounding area. And I think that's quite hard when you're trying to look for a particular, especially a great, well, a good trainer that wants to turn up to every class. So yeah, I went down that way and 2 of them have come from that way and they live really close. So for me, that's a bonus.
And you said mentoring, are they mentoring through a college? Is that with?
Yeah. So one was Deakin University and the other one's through AIPT.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Got to love that. And I think that's you know, in this day and age with staff shortages, you've got to be really on the game of ensuring that you can get great talent. And I think being prepared to train them, I think is a great benefit to that. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Now I've got to ask you a few questions about the growth that you've had through a period of shutdowns and closes and cancellations and online training and things like that. And you've still been able to come out the top, you know, 30 to 100 plus, 4x your business. What are the marketing strategies that you've used? If you can kind of take us through a couple different ones that you're non-negotiables. And I think for you, it's been about consistency. That's for sure. Yeah,
100%, Richard. Any marketing strategy needs to be consistent and it needs to be not just one, you know, one thing, one box ticked in marketing. You have to have multiple boxes ticked per month through marketing. Doesn't have to be the same stuff every month, but you definitely have to have multiple boxes ticked to run a great, you know, to build your brand per se. For me, I had to build my brand. I had to build my reputation around the area. And that all went through marketing, like hands down. I was thinking about this the other day. One of my strategies that I know works, as you said, is consistency, and it's branding, it's community, it's email marketing, it's social media, it's sales. Number one, sales is probably my biggest thing that I had to learn. I used to, as you might, you know, you go down the street and you see these people coming up in the shopping center and they're trying to like, hey, buy this, or have you seen this new hand cream? And you're like, go away, I don't want to speak to you, because you know they're just trying to sell you something and you're not interested in it. So for me, it was like, well, how am I going to sell my business to somebody that calls me and would like personal training or needs group training? You know, how can I sound like I'm not one of those people, just another salesperson, a car salesperson, you know? And one of the big things that I took away from it was, you know, a sales framework call. What was it called?
The sales performer framework.
Something. And it just went through the different ways of actually chatting with somebody, you know, finding out a bit about them and listening to them. Just ask the question, shush, listen, write the details down, you know, and then, okay, once you've done that, then you want to know what solve their solution, you know, you want to know what their solution is. Once you know that, then you can solve that. Then you can do this, and then you can say, now I can help you. And I think listening to people and knowing what they want makes it so much easier for you to be able to sell your business to them and show them that you actually care about them. And that, oh my God, it just changed my business. Like, it was just amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Well, I remember because you've been in our program, our marketing program, and you always had it printed out. And I think is what I probably want to highlight is that some people learn it, but they don't implement it. And you print it out and you still have it. How, like, for the people that, like, you know, the secret is in doing, as they say in there, but what is the difference between, you know, learning something and doing something, Kate, in your world? Is it the same? Is it different? Is it harder to do the doing? Is it hard to do the learning?
I'm going to say, well, first thing, it's definitely practice. Just practice, 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 practice. Practice makes perfect, and that's something that I do a lot of, especially when it comes to training. So that's definitely embedded in me. I'm going to say, no, I don't know if it's learning or doing. I think the hardest part would be doing it. You got to put practice, you got to do it to reap the rewards. You can, learn all the knowledge in the world. You can take all this information in, you can, listen to a whole heap of different podcasts, you can read a lot of books, but if you don't do it, then you're not going to see any rewards in the outcome. That's my way of putting it anyway. So I'm definitely a doer. If you give me something to do, I will do it until I've, literally enhanced it to 110%. And then I'm like, okay, where's my next one? And it works. Trust me, it really does work.
Love it. Okay. What's some of the biggest lessons you've learned from the actual mistakes that you've made? If you can maybe take us through two. I always like asking this question because really I think we learn faster through mistake because you kind of realize you stuffed up, right? If you want to learn it. So is there some things you can share here?
I was thinking about this one. I've had something happen, which is quite interesting for me to know, is you can't do it all. You need to learn to take a step back, and you need to learn to, what's the word? Not off sell, but you need, I can't think of what the word is.
You need to give a little bit to someone else. You need to outsource.
Yeah. You need to start, I just can't think of the word, but it doesn't matter. You need to take some, you can't do everything in the business. Like I said, it's just me. And I need to learn to start saying, okay, I need you to do my social media. I need you to do this. I need you to do that, because I was doing it all. Working every morning. I was working nearly every night. I was doing all my admin throughout the week, and 13, 14-hour days is not feasible over the time. And I pretty much found myself burnt out to the max. I've never felt like that before, to a point where I didn't even want to be in business anymore. I was very depressed, and it's just because I was burnt out. So I had to learn to, give this opportunity to someone else and let them excel in that. If I'm not good at something, don't try and, think, oh, I can learn it. Yes, you can learn it, but why not give it to somebody else that actually excels in that area and does it better? And you're not sitting there for hours and hours and hours and thinking about it. So that's definitely one of my biggest mistakes, was not letting other people have a go and employing other people to do what, their skill. And I definitely saw it happen to me. Number two.
It's such a great lesson though, learning to give up a little bit, especially in different revenue stages that you're in your business. It does going to come up with different, different things that you literally need to give out. Otherwise you can't get through the stages of business. There's a blockage. No. There's always a blockage the next door. So yeah, making sure that happens. That's a really great lesson. If you are burnt out, struggling with loving what you do, sometimes you get right in front of your face, it's doing too much for too long.
And it's good to have someone, that's not in my business. Hence my partner. He works in something completely different.
Yep.
And he kept saying to me, I've been telling you this for months. Like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, totally. That's what we do.
But it's true. It's very true. I think you need someone strong in your life to be able to say that and stand up to, to someone like myself. Like, I'm not a stubborn sort of person, but I think that really helps in the long run. Yeah.
All right, very good. Do you have one more, or that's?
I was just trying to think of probably what it was, but one mistake would have been last year. Would have been August, September. Had a lot of leads coming through,
Yeah.
And I was, as Evelyn knows, I was writing them on pieces of paper and I was getting so distracted of who was where and not implementing a system earlier enough for me to be able to make it look more professional. So if I'd implemented a system back in July, then everything would have been funneled a lot easier. So definitely think ahead in business. So don't just think of something that's going to happen now at the time and go, oh, I should have done that months ago. Be always thinking ahead. So planning something for what might happen. Even if it doesn't happen, at least you've implemented it already.
Yeah, great insights. Planning for ahead. Don't just think about what's happening right now, what's happening in the next 2 minutes. It's a struggle. We try to think ahead. We're just trying to get by today, and you gotta understand how to get to the next point. And that kind of goes on the concept of dreaming, Kate. I think we've all got to realize as business owners, sole entrepreneurs, if you listen to this, is that you decide of how big or small or where you want the business to go. And I think many people talk too much about this, but at the end of the day, it's the decision of what you want that business to be. And I think there's two ways. You can just let the business happen to you. Like you get a client, they refer you someone else, that takes that happens. Sometimes the whole referral marketing plan is awesome. It just happens. But then one day it may not be the type of business you want. And there's the other stage where it's like, well, okay, let's plan to get to this point and we'll reach somewhere around that proximity, hopefully in the kind of way that you want your business to be. It is a good lesson that you share that last one. I think it's a easy one to miss. That's for sure.
Totally. And again, it just comes from learning, and doing, you know what I mean? It's learning about where your business is headed. I didn't know that, COVID was going to hit Melbourne for 2 years and we were going to be in these extended lockdowns constantly. So it's about, as we used to say, it's about pivoting into a different business model or pivoting to make your business be more productive, be more professional. And I get people telling me that all the time now. They'll be like, oh, you're so professional in the way that you run your business. And I'm like, thank you, because I'm not just another trainer that pops up at a park. And I've got nothing wrong with that. I want more trainers to come to the park where I am, because I think the more that's out there, the more that we can help our community with keeping them health and fit. So yeah, it definitely does help being and looking more professional, especially with my clientele of people that I have. I have a lot of clientele that have high professional jobs.
Yep.
So for me, that is a must. Yeah, is a huge must.
Now, Kate, I need to know about this running name, Run It by Kate. Tell me about your running, because every time I see you, you're always running, or you're bringing other people to run, or you're starting a fun run, or you're doing a marathon, or you're doing a half marathon. Tell me the running schedule, what that looks like for you at the moment, or what it has looked like for the last year, Kate, for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I've only just started to get back into it, which was last week. So I always do it this morning, did a nice 10K run. Wednesdays I do interval or fight leg training. So intervals can be on off and fight leg can be, running fast, slow. And then I do another run either on a Thursday or a Friday, which I call my long run. Yep. So it's less of an intensity. So it's a little bit slower tempo than what it would have been today. Depends. Yep. It does depend on the day. And then I run with my crew on a Saturday. So I've just started a new run training package and we are doing the last fun run for the year, for me anyway, in December. And there's already 7 of us already signed up for it. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to train them up and we're all going to go and run 5 or 10Ks. And yeah, so for me as a runner, I've been doing running since I was 8. So I've been doing it for such a very long time.
Yep.
I did stop through my 20s when I had my 2 daughters. But yeah, for me, it's a way of just switching off and relaxing. Don't get me wrong, it's not always easy. I've learned the hard way of, but now I feel like I've found something that works well for me and then I implement that to my clients. So yeah.
And to, when you're out there running your marathons, Kate, do your clients, in regards to marketing and retention and your clients, learning from the best that's actually out there doing it, what do you think it does to them watching at the sidelines? What do they say about that?
They can see that I'm passionate I am who I live in I pretty much am my business.
Mm.
So when I say run it by Kate, yeah, I enjoy running, but they can see that I'm real. I'm the true person out there that's actually doing it. So, and they want to learn more. Like, they're really infatuated by me teaching them these tiny little things. Like on Saturday, it was belting down with rain here.
Yep.
They were all waiting for a text message to see if it was cancelled. And everyone, if my clients know me, I never cancel if it rains, especially if we're running. And we just did some stuff undercover. And for them, that was really hard and really challenging. And I was like, I walked away going, I could have done something different there. But it was enough for them. So I always have to know that they're wanting to, they want to be me in some sort of way, they want to be able to run like me. Like, they always go, how do you get so fast? And what do you do? And then I hear that, a couple of my clients that do run training with me all the time, they're like, we went out and did that run training program that you did the other week, Kate. And I'm like, cool. Like, they're implementing it themselves too. So they're actually, taking what I'm teaching them and implementing it themselves. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing good for them.
Love it. Well, thanks for sharing an insight into the great outdoors, into running a business in the outdoors. I think it's very underrated and underutilized, personally. Not to have your part crowded, Kate, but I do believe I do believe that it's not a short-term, business model. It's actually a long-term, business model, and that's something that you've definitely proved. So well done on your success in the short time there. It's been so good to watch from the sidelines to sort of see how that plays out. And it certainly comes down, when I look at things, it certainly comes down to, you can take the strategies and the learnings, but it does come down to the operator as well. So, if anybody is listening and they're a PT and you're a single-based trainer and thinking, how can I do it all the time? I think it's a great example of that, knowing that you have the ability to do it. It's just got to be done. It's got to be done consistently. And, know when you need to, as you say, give out a little bit to people so you don't have to do it all. And so you don't experience burnout, and you can experience consistency in what you do. And if you haven't yet checked out Kate, run it by kate.com.au, Kate. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct, Richard. Yes. Jump on. We before we go, I just wanted to say that in regards to the running I do, we do a fun run every year. So this is my second year. I've done a community fun run. And this year we raised $4,500 for Headspace. They're pretty happy about that. So yeah, the videos and everything will be up on my website soon. So that's something else that I do for the community.
Yeah, so good. You're a massive community impactor. We didn't actually talk about that, but you're always out there. You're always out there. You're always out there pushing and getting more people into this, not obsession, but into this process of making themselves better through your model.
It's great. And people see me all the time. Like, I was just the other day, I'll be running around the park and people go, hi, Kate. I'm like, hi, how are you? I see people at the shopping center and I'll run into them. I'm like, oh, hi, this is my partner, Barry. And they'll be like, oh, hi, Kate, and I see people all the time. And the other day I had to go and get some stuff on a Saturday after work. I went to the shop and we're chatting and the guy goes, oh my God, are you run it by Kate? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh my God, I go past your van every day. Like, people see me. And this is like people that I see once a week at the shops, So people see me, they hear of me. And I always hear that really, really good things about it. Like, I've had a few clients tell me through community groups, through Facebook and stuff like that my name always gets put up, and I always got really good reviews from people. Like, everyone's always saying how well professional I am, or how great the sessions are, and how great the trainers are, clients, they feel welcomed. So for me, I want to keep that standard. And for me to keep that standard, I need to keep giving back to my community as much as I can.
Love that. I think that just brings this together really, really nicely. Well done on your success. You've certainly earned it. That's for sure. Nothing's ever handed to you. So well done on that, Kate. Good to have you, leading the way in your community, in what you do. Awesome work. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, there's more of these. you can certainly go through past episodes. And if you like this, reach out, say, hey, Kate, awesome, listen to your podcast. And if you want to hear more of these, simply go to your favorite platform, or you can watch this version on YouTube. Go to commarketing.com.au. Now, team, if you do want help with your marketing to grow your business, just like Kate's, simply go to our website, commarketing.com.au, and you can jump on to our fast lead program. I've got another one starting next month, and you can jump into there just for $27, and you can experience how to generate fast clients through your database and through your organic social media without any paid ads. So if you're wanting to jump on there, just jump on Com Marketing. You can find that there. Thanks so much, Kate. I look forward to seeing you grow and grow.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me. Have a nice day, everyone.